Hey, welcome back. In this video, I want to show you how to create Facebook images that are really engaging. These are the kind of images that people like and won't be able to resist opening and seeing. Hopefully, these will be the images that they see as something they can comment about later, and so you can create engagement. Your goal is to create engagement, simply because in the long run, engagement will result in a lot of sales and conversions and a lot of trust coming from your fans. We want them to trust you. It all comes down to posting good images that people want to click. I'm going to show you an example of an image that's not bad. And while it's not bad, it's also not the best to choose. Look at this one. Now, it's not a bad image. If we were not highlighting it like this, it would be pretty good. If we make it a highlight, and if it's that big and there's so much empty space around it, well, it just doesn't look that great. What we want to do is to post the images that are full screen and that are really out there for people to see. The best images that I found to be working are screenshots. My own personal screenshots with some comments about what's happening in that screenshot. I can take a screenshot of the software that I'm using. If I want to promote it, I can take a screenshot from that software's admin page and just show some hidden features and maybe say something like, "That hidden feature has changed my business," or just comment about that feature. A simple screenshot really works well. Now we do need to add a couple of things to that screenshot in order to make it really stand out. Because if it's just a simple screenshot, it's not going to stand out as much as it would if you also used a couple of tools. Initially, I did all this with Photoshop. However, one time I had only my laptop with me and I didn't have my Photoshop. And I came up with a new way of doing this without actually editing the image and without needing to or having to have Photoshop or any of that other software like that. All you need is either Word or Pages, and that's what you can use. If you have Paint, like if you're on Windows, you can also use Paint for this, but I do recommend Word because it is really easy. You're going to see the trick from what I'm going to do now. Just see how I'm going to add these elements onto my screenshot. First of all, you need to take that screenshot. Let's say we're going to take a screenshot from the Google AdWords keyword tool. Let's search for diet solution pills. Let's say you did a search for diet solution pills. Now, obviously, this is not the screenshot that you would take, but just take this screenshot so you can come up with something. Let's say I find a keyword that has a ton of traffic and also has some very low competition, okay? That would be something interesting that I could post. For example, I'm promoting a product on AdWords or keyword research or niche research. This would be a very good start. Let's look for something with low competition and a lot of searches. So, diet, diet, diet. Low competition and a lot of searches. What I can do now is to take a screenshot. I'm going to select my screen over here. Okay. What I'm going to do now is pick it up from my desktop and just drop it here to Word. Give me a second to find it on my desktop, and then we can go ahead and move on with that. All right, I think it's this one. So I'm just going to paste in there. Yeah, I do know it doesn't look that great, but don't worry about that. We're going to make sure it becomes bigger so that everybody can clearly see what's going on. What we need to do now is to go over here. Actually, we're going to have to give me a second so that I can figure out what's going on and where that option is. I usually use Pages for this, but I know I can do it with Word as well. So I think we need to go to wrap text, and then we want to go to none. This is now free, and we can move it and do whatever we want with it. We want to go with wrap text and then none. Then just simply make it bigger. I'm going to go ahead and increase this just a little bit more so that the important thing is visible. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now what we need is to get a couple of doodles, and this is what I mean by that. I use this free website, doodlemycopy.com. Just click download all doodles. You actually don't even need to insert your name and primary email. Just click this download button and you can get them. Thanks to whoever it is who's providing them. Alright, so I have my doodles. I downloaded them already, and what I like to do is just use some of them to circle the highlights and find what's interesting in the photo in my screenshot. Just pick up the circle and paste it over there. Let's see. Looks like it disappeared. Okay. What we need to do is the same thing. Right-click on the circle and then wrap text and none. We want to move it over to our screenshot. Let's go ahead and do that. So it's very big, and what we want to do is make it smaller and just highlight the keyword that is important to us. Diet, diet, diet. We want to highlight the global monthly searches and the competition because it's low. I think that looks good. Yeah, it looks good. Now, what we want is to maybe add like a smiley face or something that draws attention even more. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the drawback is that I have to remove these photos every time I add a new one. So because for some reason they just get moved over to the back. So wrap text and again none. And that's going to move it over here where we need it. Now I need to reposition the old screenshot, which kind of takes a little time to do. Just make sure you post those doodles before you actually reposition them on the right side of the page. Alright. So now we have that little smiley face over there. What we want to do next is to add a little bit of text. Let's just select one of those simple text boxes. Had one over there and we just put it over here. We can write the text and then we're going to move it over to the screenshot. We can say something like, "Can you believe how low the competition is? I know I'm going to try my luck with AdWords for this one." Okay, something like that. Just a comment regarding what you've just posted. Then you would put this comment over here. Remember, we need to do the same for this, so we need to wrap it and then go to none. Just make it a little bigger. Increase the font and let's go to 34. Let's see if that's too big. Actually, it's just what we need. Let's reposition it at the center. I do know that these two are overlapping, and I'm going to actually remove this. Okay, so just like that, we need to change the font. Actually, I recommend going with something that looks more like a handwritten font. It just works better for me. Let's see, which one would be a good handwritten font? Perhaps Comic Sans Bold? It's not really that great. You can't really see the text because the text in the background. So we need to do something about that. We either need to add some background to it like this, or we should change the color to perhaps red and then add some background. That doesn't look that pretty. It would stand out because they are high contrast colors, red and green. But let's try red and then gray, just like that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now we can move this smiley around. It doesn't have to be there. Just move it to a place where there's not so much action going on so that the entire page, everything on the page, will draw attention. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And once you're done, you can't actually save this as an image. What you can do is to, first of all, remove these red lines over here that say AdWords. Let's see if we can just ignore that. Yes. And also ignore this. Okay. Now what we want to do is to take another screenshot of this page because we can't save everything as an image. We're just going to take another screenshot. Now if you take a screenshot with Windows, you're going to have to paste it to Paint and then do your thing over there. You make sure that you cut this text and screenshot. If you're doing it on a Mac, you can just press, I think, Command, Shift, and number 4, and then you can select the areas that you want to add as a screenshot. So let's go ahead and post this. Photo, video, and I'm going to upload this from my screen. Let's see if I can pick it up. Okay, perfect. How did everyone else miss on this keyword? Diet, diet, diet. A weird one, but worth checking it out. Then you post it. You're going to see this doesn't look pretty, but it definitely draws attention because of the colors we used and all the arrows and all the things that we used on the page. It's going to take a second for this to upload. As soon as this is done, we're going to see if this is any good. Now, what we want to do is to highlight it. Highlight, and there we go. It looks pretty good. Now, it might be a little bit bigger because you can't really see what they've circled over here, but that actually might be a good thing because they're going to have to click on it to see what you've circled. Hence, if the entire screenshot is visible right away, they might not click on it and might not engage that much. If they click on it, then there's a bigger chance for them to engage and write a comment or like it. Okay? So pay attention to that. So over here, you're going to see your ad and what your ad looks like if you want to promote this page. At the moment, the text over here is not that big. What you want to do is perhaps shorten this, and we remove one of those sentences and make the text bigger in case you want to promote this page. We're going to talk about promoting page posts. Though you already touched on that earlier with Brad, I want to talk about it too. That's about it for this video. This is how you create those engaging screenshots. You just post these things, post these circles and smiley faces that look like they were hand-drawn, and people are going to go ahead and click on it. Now, you don't want to do this all the time, every single day, because people will eventually get tired of it. You want to do this in moderation, every once in a while. You want to post such screenshots, but don't do it like every day because people, like I said, they're just going to get tired of it. So for everyday stuff, you can do screenshots like this, or you can do videos. You can do simple posts without screenshots, and really anything that's expressing your opinion or asking for other people's opinion. Those are just some of the things that work. And that's it for this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.